about let's talk about my favorite team, man, which is the Miami Hurricanes, man. So we talk about my Hurricanes. And first off, I love this, right? Malachi Toney just making plays. Looks familiar, looks good. Some people are saying, like, nah, bro, he should be playing, NFL next year. Why should he have to come back his junior year? And I love it. I'm saying? This kid is special. We know about the fandom he has right now, kids going crazy over him, the deep lines that he has, man. But he just puts the work in every single day and just made a great decision to stay home. And I think he kind of show like, yo, you don't have to go outside the state of Miami or outside of the city of Miami, outside the state of Florida to be a player, right? And he's showing, look what I've done. You know what I'm saying? And I've become a guy. I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but you know what I'm saying? I'm considered one of the best receivers in college football right now. And he 100% is. And he's making these spectacular plays consistently. Kid is special. Kid has a bright future. Obviously, you know that. And the key is going to be who's going to help him, right? The key is going to be who else is going to step out outside of Malachi Toney because even though he works the slot predominantly, he's going to need guys that's going to kind of help him out, right? He's going to need guys that can, take that next difference for him and be able to win on the outside, right? And again, easier said than done, right? So we got to see what happens there. You know what I'm saying? And see, who else is going to step up. We know about Vendors Jacobs, right? We know about Samorian Wingo who's coming in, right? And this is kind of a look at the depth chart a little bit. Vance Spafford, Joshua Moore, Vanders Jacobs, as we talked about. And then I think the guy, when you look at obviously this roster, it's going to be Cooper Barkate, right? Comes over from Duke along with Darian Mensah. And he's going to be the guy I think makes a difference. Already has that relationship with Darian Mensah. And when they're doubling Malachi Toney, you have Cooper Barkate that can stretch the defense. He had a number of games where he balled out and couldn't be stopped, right? And I want to see the progression of a Dalen Upshaw this year, right? He was coming out of Central Phoenix City, 3-star prospect. He was expected to have a big role. I want to see if he can expand his role this year behind Cooper Barkate and find something that can obviously help out the Miami Hurricanes, right? Now, in terms of the team, right, I like the roster. Darian Mensah, Luke Nickel. Luke Nickel's a really good player. I've known him from at Milton, went to, I believe, his second season, right? You got obviously Mark Fletcher, Jordan Lyle, Chris Wheatley Humphrey. You got a lot of players that can play at a high level in the running back room. And we pretty much returned everybody, right? Then you look at our wide receivers. I feel like it's more depth there. My only maybe concern is the tight end position. Will it be as good? Elijah Lofton, obviously Luka Gilbert. Will that position be better this upcoming year? Offensive line wise, I feel like he did a really good job pivoting, bringing in a top prospect who's going to probably play as a true freshman in Jackson Cantwell. We've seen the video, we've reviewed the video. He looks good. Obviously, got to clean up some things, do better some things, but he should be a guy that has a keen role this upcoming year for the Miami Hurricanes. Then we have Ejde Alofatulele, Ryan Rodriguez, obviously Max Buchanan, and Matthew McCoy. I like the depth at the offensive line. I think they have some good additions. It should be a team that makes a lot of noise, obviously, there. Then looking at the depth chart, I'm saying projection for defense, Armando Blount, Booker Pickett, obviously Jarquez Carter, Keyshawn Stansel, Justin Scott, obviously Keona Davis, Damon Wilson, expecting him to have a big role. I know they paid some good money to get him from Missouri. We're going to need him to have that role. He don't have to be Ruben Bain Jr. or Key Messendor, but we need him to have a key role this year. I think if he can get between 7.5 sacks to 10, I think that's an accomplishment for us this year. Outside linebacker Chase Smith, Ezekiel Marcelin, middle linebacker Kamal Bonner, Keelan Wiley, nickel, Omar Thornton. I really like him and Camden Portis. Cornerback Jabori Antoine and Ryan Mack. And then also Xavier Lucas and Ethan O'Connor. At the safety spot, obviously, we got Bryce Fitzgerald, Zachariah Poisier, Poisier, and then Dylan Day and JJ Dunigan. So that's kind of what he has in terms of the roster and what he sees as a depth chart and playing, early. And there's some pretty good freshmen on this list too, man. That should have obviously a key role next year for obviously them. And then in terms of the scrimmage, we'll just talk about a couple of things that obviously he talked about here for the live scrimmage work. Obviously, the offense had a TD of over 30 yards. Darian Mensah Cooper Barkate connection that we're going to know pretty well this year. You know what I'm saying? Mensah got a 25-yard TD pass on a great over shoulder throw to Dalen Upshaw. The next series he was in, and then Cam Vaughn had a nice TD grab from Mensah on an 11-yard slant. But from what I heard, the defense dominated this game pretty much early for Miami. The offense did have some of their struggles, a couple of turnovers in there, but was finally able to kind of figure out the defense. So that's a good telltale sign. Defenses usually dominate these type of games. You know what I'm saying? To be humbly honest with you. So it was good to see, you know what I'm saying, the offense kind of figure it out, get things going, you know what I'm saying, and do some different things. Booker Pickett, Looks like a real deal pass rusher. We're going to need somebody opposite side, Damon Wilson. You know what I'm saying? So for him to kind of already stand out tells me a lot. Rice Woodrow's had 3 snaps go over Luke Nichols' head, so he's going to have to figure that out, being the backup center. You know what I'm saying? We can't have that when it comes to obviously our team and how we play. Let's see. Jordan Lyle also shined, including a run down the left side of the sideline, 35 yards, fast and strong. That looks great. Fan Spafford has some big time plays with the backups, including a nice snag ball over his head, and Judd Anderson that set up a short Terrell Walden TD run on the next rep. So that's some of the stuff that happened in the spring. The last thing I want to hit on is what obviously Mario Cristobal had to pretty much say about my Miami Hurricanes. And this is what he said, right? He just emphasized, like, okay, like it was a good spring, right? We did some nice things, but there's still more work to be done, right? We still got more work that we got to do, more stuff we got to accomplish. And that was pretty much telltale of what he pretty much had to say, as y'all can see from the screen right here, right? It seems like just yesterday, Miami kicked off practice. Let's see, he says it here. Okay, good to see our guys come out in another fully padded session and just flat out compete, execute. Obviously, another game plan on both sides of the ball, so just so we could watch guys play, execute, chase, and finish. I think we accomplished that today. You saw guys that did something with the ball and some guys that still need to work on that. You also see guys that can block them up, knock them back, and that's always a continuing, never-ending process. All in all, successful spring, a lot of progress, a lot more to do, right? And then he says, we're pleased with the progress in terms of talking about his quarterback, Darian Mensah. Still have a long way to go. Cristobal said when asked about Mensah's spring, we saw some really accurate, long, high degree of difficulty throws today that he hit. A couple of the others just have to come up with. You throw the ball deep and you've won the man coverage. If it's on target, you got to get there. Other times, you like to have some plays back. All in all, to have your quarterback take all the spring practice reps, be here for workouts is a tremendous advantage. It showed up today. We expect him to take another step in the summer into the fall. Cristobal says it's also hard to say how well the offense can perform this season based on spring ball. I wouldn't judge until games are played, right? How many times do you see top 25 preseason and then you see the team not even make the postseason bowl? He said, there's no judgment. We recognize we have pieces that are coming together, recognize that we've enhanced the talent in several areas and are working on the depth at others, but that we have a long way to go. We are very encouraged, very enthused about it, but these guys have no reason, no right to hear any praise about where they are right now. They've done nothing, absolutely nothing, and we intend to have the most challenging, most productive all season of our time here at Miami, right? So peeling those tea leaves away, it just tells me, coach, that, hey, I'm not satisfied. Hey, y'all haven't done nothing yet. Yeah, it looks all good and granny. We got one of the better rosters on paper, but I'm not feeding into the nonsense. I'm not feeding into the bull jive. We're going to put down our head and we're going to work. Yes, we got better in this area. Yes, we got better in that area. But at the same time, we still have more stuff we have to work on and to improve if we're going to take that next step as a program. Okay. Yes, I know we're good. Yes, I know we can do A, B, C, D. But at the same time, we still have to put in work to get to the level we want to be, which we want to win a natty, right? And if we're going to win a natty, it can't be, oh, well, yeah, let me praise you today. And, you did good. You're a superstar. Like, no. And I think he's talking about the culture of his program, what he set up, and why it performs so well is because he's not being complacent, knows stuff they have to work on, and knows that, hey, we got to improve in certain areas if we want to take that next step. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what Mario Cristobal is preaching. Overall, I feel pretty good about the spring. I love that our defense dominated early. I feel like we got a lot of talent. I feel like we got a lot of different players that can make plays. I want to continue to watch the wide receiver room and see what happens. Running back room, I feel good about. I'm not really tripping on that. I think we're going to be good there. Darian Mensah gives me no cause to pause. I've seen him up close and personal. I've seen him play numerous of times. This dude is a baller, bro. Like Darian Mensah is the next level, and he could be the one that helps us win. I feel like we would have had Cam Ward this past year, we would have won the title, right? But can the defense still be good, right? We know about Shannon Dawson. We know obviously about defensive coordinator who's done a great job. Excuse me, can the defense still be good without having those marquee players like how we had last year, right? Collectively, can they be as good? And then two, offensively, we don't need to be like a superpowered, unit, but can we score 20 points consistently? Can we score 25 points consistently in the ACC and win some of these big games? That's going to be the big question for me this upcoming year. But a pretty good spring, more things to work on. My eyes going to obviously be on the linebacker position and the defensive line, and then I would say obviously wide receivers outside of Malachi Toney, right? Because you need other receivers to step up. Those would be my 3 positions, man. But that's going to do it for today's show. Appreciate y'all tuning in. As always, man, and obviously, I'll post these a little bit later, but this is my post-spring reaction to Miami, Texas, and Georgia. I will see you guys on Wednesday for, obviously, my college football show. Till then. Peace.